Hi, and welcome to first year undergraduate microeconomics. In this brief presentation, we begin by talking about one of the fundamental ideas of microeconomics, opportunity cost. An opportunity cost relates to a decision that you or someone else makes. Every decision that you make involves a trade-off. Put simply, you can't have everything. Economics is about the study of how people make decisions when faced by limited resources. In other words, it is about how people make trade-offs. Let's start with a simple example of a decision. Suppose that it's Saturday afternoon. Umberto has 2 free hours on the afternoon. What can he do with that time? Suppose that he has 3 options. His options are: first, he can study; second, he can watch television; or third, he can go to sleep. The first thing to notice is that Umberto cannot do all of these things at once. He can either study, or he can watch television, or he can sleep. But if he chooses to do one of these things, he necessarily cannot do either of the other 2 things. We say that his options, or his alternatives, are mutually exclusive. He can choose one, but only one, of these 3 options for his 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon. What Umberto will choose to do on the Saturday afternoon will depend on his preferences. Let's suppose that Umberto's first choice is to study, his second choice is to sleep, and his third choice is to watch television. In other words, Umberto prefers to study than to either sleep or watch television, but he would prefer to sleep rather than watch television. So Umberto will choose to study for 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon. But what does this decision cost Umberto? In other words, what does Umberto give up when he chooses to study? We could say that he gives up both the opportunity to sleep and the opportunity to watch television, but that doesn't sound right. After all, if he could not study, Umberto would sleep rather than watch television. So when he chooses his first option, to study, what he gives up is his second option, the opportunity for a 2-hour sleep. So we say that the cost to Umberto of choosing to study is the lost opportunity to sleep. Or put another way, when Umberto chooses to study, he gives up his next best alternative, his second choice, which is to sleep. So now we are ready to formally define opportunity cost. Whenever you make a choice, you have to give up other alternative options. The opportunity cost of a choice is the next best alternative that you gave up when you made your choice. So for Umberto, the opportunity cost to him of choosing to study for 2 hours on that Saturday afternoon is the loss of a chance to sleep for those 2 hours. That is the best alternative that he gave up. Let's now take a different example. Suppose it's Saturday evening. Rose has 3 hours free. She has 3 mutually exclusive alternatives, and she can only choose one of them. She can study economics, or she can go to the movies, which will take 3 hours and also cost $20, or she can watch television at home with a friend. What are Rose's preferences? Suppose her first choice is to go to the movies, her second choice is to watch television, and her third choice is to study. So Rose will choose to go to the movies and spend $20. Okay, so what is Rose's opportunity cost? Well, her second option is to watch television at home for the 3 hours. So surely that is the opportunity cost. Hang on, we're missing something here. Have we really fully defined the alternative options that Rose can choose between? She can spend her 3 hours of time either at the movies, or watching television, or studying. And she can only do one of those things in the 3 hours of time. But if she watches television, then she still has $20 in her pocket. And if she studies, she doesn't spend any money. But if she goes to the movies, she spends $20. So her choices are not just what she would do with the 3 hours of time, but also what she would do with the $20 if she doesn't go to the movies. So let's try writing out Rose's choices fully. If she goes to the movies, she uses up 3 hours of time and $20. Suppose that if she doesn't go to the movies and spend the $20, then she is planning to buy a novel. So her choices are really, first, go to the movies and spend $20, or watch television at home and use the $20 to buy a novel, or study and use the $20 to buy a novel. Her first choice is to go to the movies. But her second choice is to spend the 3 hours watching television and to use the $20 to buy a novel. So her opportunity cost of going to the movies is not watching television together with not buying a novel. Together, they represent the best alternative that Rose gives up when she chooses to go to the movies. The lesson here is to think about all the different sorts of scarce resources that are involved in a choice. The scarce resources in this example are Rose's time and her money. Her opportunity cost is the next best alternative that she would have done with both the time and the money if she didn't go to the movies for 3 hours and spend $20. So, now you have an introduction to the idea of opportunity cost. It's not just a useful idea in economics, but it can help you think more clearly about decisions in many situations. However, while opportunity cost sounds simple, you have to be careful when you're working it out, as the example of Rose and the movies illustrates. Finally, when learning economics, it is important to note that when economists talk about costs, they mean opportunity cost.